All right, today we have got to get to it because we're already in the weeds. Today is braising day and today is a la carte service day, where the dining room class next door is now going to bring us tickets and take orders per table. We have got to plate up and get it done. This is a lot harder on the kitchen than buffet or family style, obviously, where we just lay stuff on the table and the kitchen staff is done. By the time the food goes out, we're done. We're here through service today, filling plates as they're ordered. Plus, braising day is a long, low, and slow cooking process. So combining those two, and we're missing 2 students in class today, we're really going to have to get to it. Braising day. Braising. So far we've talked about nothing but dry cooking methods. Roasting, dry. Grilling, dry. Pan frying, dry. Saute, dry. Grilling, I think I already said, dry. All these things have been dry cooking methods because of either the direct contact of heat from the saute pan, or when we do pan frying, we said that that's a dry cooking process, although it's convective because the medium for the heat is the oil. Braising is a combination cooking method. Combination cooking method, and this is a perfect bridge for going from our dry cooking methods to next week we're going to start talking about moist cooking methods, steaming, boil, simmer, poach, things like that, moist cooking methods. Braising is a combination cooking method because the steps are thus. First, coat the item in flour. Step 1. So items that we are going to braise first are going to be coated in a little bit of flour because that's going to help us with a pan sauce. And the whole idea with braising is this combination of direct source dry heat and then filling the pan with some kind of moisture and finishing the item by poaching it. When we coat something in flour, we leave that starch for us to thicken the pan sauce. And at what temperature would the starches gelatinize so that the pan sauce thickens? 150 degrees. Thank you very much. Number 2. Pan hot, just like saute. Number 3, fat hot, just like saute. We heat the fat until just before it's going to smoke. How do you tell just before the fat's going to smoke? Goes from perfectly smooth to getting legs or getting ripply. All right? Then our protein product. Just like saute, 75% one side to brown it, 25% the other side. Again, the reason that we don't do 50-50 or just by time, the worst thing that you can do is cook by time. Oh, cook it for 3 minutes. Well, how can you say 3 minutes? The pans are different, the stoves are different, the amount of heat is different, so you can never cook by time. The reason that we don't do 50-50, again, is because you can see the changes in the product. You can see the coagulation of proteins. You can see the op point, the blood rising from the item, so you can notice the changes. If you flip it over too quickly, you're just looking at a brown piece of meat, and you lose all those indicators. 75%, 25%. So far, we're basically doing a saute method, maybe with the exception of coating the item in flour. All right? Then, we can add some kind of aromatics if we want. Usually big chunks of carrot, onion, celery. This is a stewing kind of thing, although there's a difference between braising and stewing that we'll talk about. Then we deglaze the pan. Then your red wine, your white wine, vinegar, acidic product, preferably, or broth, juices, something like that. So now we're changing this from a direct conductive method like saute, adding liquid to the pan, it becomes an indirect convective method with the liquid. So we deglaze the pan, and then it's just low and slow. We let those items poach in that liquid for a long period of time. Because braising is most often used for the toughest items, right? Last time we talked about grilling. Grilling is used for only the most tender items because grilling is the most intense heat. You put the item down there, sugars caramelize quickly, coagulates quickly. It's never going to tenderize anything. Braising is used for these tougher cuts of meat, like ossobuco. It's a veal shank. It's the leg. And any part of the animal that moves more gets tougher, gets chewier, some say gets more flavorful as well, but it's one of the toughest cuts of meat. So you can't really grill a veal shank, right? You put it on there for 5 minutes or less or whatever it may be, like a steak, it's not going to tenderize at all. You can't take some of these harder cuts of meat like stewed beef, chewy stewed beef, couldn't put it on the grill, it's too fast a cooking process. But the combination of browning the sugars, browning the item, then adding the liquid and poaching it low and slow has a tremendous tenderizing effect. And really, braising is meant for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. We don't have that luxury today, so we're going to have to get to it really, really quickly. So the braised items are always the toughest, always the chewiest. Any questions about braising procedure? Combination cooking method, the best aspects of dry cooking so that you can caramelize things, along with the best aspects of moist cooking so you can cook low and slow and tenderize in liquid. Got it? Super.